Congratulations! You are about to experience the ride of your life in the F-16 Fighting Falcon. The Falcon, or more commonly referred to as the Viper, is one of the most amazing, high-performance jet fighters in the world today. The purpose of this video is to familiarize you with the aircraft and to discuss the aeromedical aspects of flight to enhance your personal enjoyment and safety. There are several areas we will address during this video. First, flight medicine, which includes the Valsalva maneuver, motion sickness, medications, and hydration. Second, life support, which includes equipment and the anti-G-strain maneuver. Finally, the jet, which includes aircraft overview, cockpit arrangement, and final preparations and aircraft boarding. Although the F-16 cabin is pressurized, as with any aircraft, there will be pressure changes that occur in the cockpit whenever the aircraft ascends or descends. Damage can occur to your ears or sinuses if their pressure is not equalized with the cabin pressure. There is no worry with ascending to a higher altitude because equalization will automatically occur without any need for you to clear your ears. You will likely feel your ears pop or clear as this pressure equalization occurs. However, there is a difference when the aircraft descends to a lower altitude. Normally, you automatically equalize this pressure without knowing. For example, when you descend down a mountain in a car or while landing during a commercial flight, you normally feel this pressure build up and react by swallowing, moving your jaw, or yawning. These same maneuvers usually work during descent in the F-16. The Valsalva maneuver is another technique that is even more effective. To accomplish this maneuver, you simply pinch your nose between your thumb and index finger. Take in a breath of air, close your lips tightly, and try to blow out without actually allowing air to escape. The most important part of this maneuver is to think about directing this pressure into your ears, and if performed correctly, you should feel your ears pop as they equalize, and any discomfort should be relieved. In the rare event that you experience a significant pressure buildup, and you cannot clear your ears with one of these maneuvers, or even the Valsalva maneuver, then you should inform the pilot. Prior to your flight, you will meet with a flight surgeon, which is a physician who specializes in the healthcare of the aviation community. He or she will perform a physical exam to medically clear you for flight. During this exam, he or she will visualize your eardrums to ensure they are mobile and will teach you the Valsalva maneuver if needed. A common cold can significantly interfere with performing this maneuver adequately. This can result in extreme ear pain and even damage to the eardrum. If you develop any illness prior to flight, do not fly. You should report to flight medicine for evaluation. The abrupt motions, vibrations, and G-forces encountered during flight can cause air sickness. The important thing to remember is to try not to worry about getting sick, because the more you focus on getting sick, the more likely it is to occur. First, we will discuss things you can do to avoid air sickness, and then things to do if you unfortunately become sick. There are several things you can do to help prevent air sickness. You should focus on a fixed point outside the aircraft. This will help you anticipate the motion and be better prepared. An example is focusing on a mountain peak or noticeable ground formation at a distance. Next, you should avoid overeating, eating dairy products, or spicy foods prior to your flight. It is a common misbelief that if you don't eat, you won't get sick. Eat a light meal a couple of hours prior to your flight. Another method is utilizing the aircraft's ventilation control adjustment to cool you down. In the event that the above things don't work and you feel that you are going to be sick, inform the pilot and switch to cold mic so the pilot doesn't have to hear you relieve yourself. You will need to be well hydrated before your flight. Good hydration will improve your G tolerance. Avoid carbonated beverages, caffeine, and dairy products. Caffeine and alcohol lead to dehydration. Absolutely avoid any alcoholic beverages at least 12 hours prior to your flight. Not only does alcohol cause dehydration, it can also interfere with your inner ear mechanisms and increase your chances of motion sickness. Keep in mind that you will be in the aircraft for quite a while, and the Viper does not come equipped with a bathroom. It is highly recommended that you use the restroom prior to putting on your life support equipment. During your physical exam, the flight surgeon will inquire about any medications that you may be taking. This includes non-prescription medications and supplements. This is to ensure that you are not taking a medication that is contradictory to flight and that you do not have a medical problem which would preclude you from flying. Inform the flight surgeon if you start any medication between your physical and your flight. Prior to your flight, you will meet with life support. These are highly trained individuals who deal with the necessary flight equipment, including all safety equipment. They will fit you up with the equipment for your flight, which includes a flight suit, G-suit, gloves, helmet with face mask, and harness. The flight suit, G-suit, and gloves are made of a fire-resistant material for your protection. In addition to the above equipment, the life support crew will give you motion sickness bags and earplugs, which you will need on the flight line and during flight. If you don't know what G-forces are, you soon will. A G is a unitless figure that stands for the force of gravity. As you're seated watching this video, you are currently at 1 G. During flight, you will experience higher G-forces. For example, let's assume you weigh 150 pounds. At 5 Gs, this multiplies, and you would then weigh 750 pounds. If that got your attention, then realize the F-16 is capable of pulling and sustaining 9 Gs during flight. As the pilot pulls back on the stick, this causes G-forces to act from your head to your toes. This decreases blood pressure to the brain, and if it continues, you will experience graying out of your vision that can even progress to G-induced loss of consciousness. To combat G-forces, you will wear a G-suit. More importantly, you should perform the anti-G-straining maneuver. This maneuver is a two-part process that occurs simultaneously. First, you should contract the muscles in your calves, thighs, buttocks, and abdomen.
Okay, get on it. You're going to 9. Hold it. On top, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. Keep your legs, butt, and stomach tight. Breathe. 1, 2, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. 2, 1, coming down.
The F-16 is a third-generation multi-role tactical fighter. It has air-to-air and air-to-surface capabilities. It is powered by a single afterburning turbofan engine that can generate over 29,000 pounds of thrust. The aircraft's unique aerodynamic system, coupled with its fly-by-wire computer flight system, makes the Viper one of the most maneuverable aircraft in the world today. The F-16 has an emergency power unit, called EPU for short, which activates if the main generator fails. The EPU runs off a supply of hydrazine. This is pointed out because during the initial engine run-up, the pilot will test the EPU system. Remember, you will be asked to switch to 100% oxygen during this test as a safety precaution in the event that a hydrazine leak occurs. It is important to note that the back seat of the F-16 has a very similar configuration as the front, and that the majority of the switches are functional. You should be careful with your hand placement during flight. The following is a general overview of the cockpit. The left console is directly left of the seat. In the far rear, you will find the anti-G-suit connector as well as a test button that you can push after the engine is running to test the G-suit. The forward part of this console houses the aircraft radio panels. This is where you can adjust the volume of the different radios to a comfortable level independently of the pilot. The most important dial for you is the intercom dial that allows you to adjust the volume between you and the pilot. The hot mic switch is a toggle switch below the intercom dial. You should keep this switch in the hot position so you're always communicating with the pilot unless otherwise directed. If you position it in the off position, you will still hear the pilot, but he or she will not be able to hear you. Shortly after the pilot powers up the aircraft, he or she will check the radios to ensure they are working properly and you can talk to each other. In front of you are the instrument panels, which includes the heads-up display. The heads-up display, or HUD, is a monitor that displays much of the vital instrument information so the pilot does not have to look down in the cockpit. Directly in the middle and at the bottom of the instrument panels is a round ventilation control adjustment. You can turn it clockwise to open it, allowing more airflow. This can be useful to cool you down and make you feel more comfortable. There is an important control located all the way in the front on the right console. It is the ejection mode selector. This control regulates the ejection sequence. It should always be in the aft position when there is a backseat passenger. The main aircraft control is also known as the stick. It is located in the right console as well. It is important to realize that this control is active in the rear seat. In the far rear is the oxygen control panel. There are 3 switches on this panel. The green switch should be in the on position. The next switch is white and has 2 different positions, either normal or 100% oxygen. This switch is normally located in the normal position. As we conclude, you can see we have provided a basic F-16 aircraft overview and touched on the aeromedical aspects of your flight. A lot of information has been presented, and you probably have several questions. You will now meet with a flight surgeon who will gladly answer any questions. Finally, throughout your flight, you will have direct communication with the pilot, so ask questions and enjoy your flight.